And that's relatively easy. I did it myself with the Dale Carnegie course. Some people wish I'd taken a shorter course now in terms of my talking later on. But it's just hugely important. And if you invest in yourself.
Warren Buffett is right. It is relatively easy, but why does it always seem so hard? Why is it that Warren Buffett was able to get insanely rich to the point of being the 5th richest person in the world, yet so many of us struggle to even just stop living paycheck to paycheck? To continue the mantra of Warren Buffett, simplicity is the key. So today, I'm going to share Warren Buffett's 19 of the easiest frugal living tips that you can start today, so that you can start living and building wealth like Warren Buffett. It all starts with this. Number 1, go brandless. Here's a question for you. How often do you see Warren Buffett with anything branded? The only things I've ever seen him use that are branded are Coca-Cola, McDonald's, and his car. There's actually something very unique about his car, and we'll touch on that later in the video. Outside of those brands, however, he doesn't seem to use any other brands. In fact, his suits are from a solo entrepreneur suit maker named Madam Lee, who fitted him once for suits, and he's stuck with her ever since. Then it dawned on me. He utilizes a very easy frugal living tip to help him lower his expenses. He never buys anything branded unless it's backed by a discount price and serves the purpose he's looking for. I started using this myself by buying no-name medication and sticking to brandless foods at the store. And I noticed how much lower my expenses were every month. It's worth the change. Number 2, have an emergency fund. You can't have real security in life if you don't have an emergency fund. The famous quote by Buffett, "Don't save what is left after spending, spend what is left after saving," really says everything you need to know. Saving is what will protect you from any emergencies that happen that could topple your finances entirely. In fact, Warren Buffett practices this in his own business at Berkshire Hathaway, which has a lot of cash reserves in case things don't go as planned. The best part is that it's easy to do since you can set up automatic payments. I just got 15% of my checks to go into a separate account, and before I knew it, I was covering 6 months of my expenses and could sleep easier at night. Number 3, start borrowing. But doesn't Warren Buffett say not to borrow money? No, not that kind of borrowing, but borrow things that you'd normally buy, but don't need for extended periods. For example, if you like to read, but don't read books more than once, then maybe borrowing from the library is a good idea. This is something I do often. Another thing could be borrowing things that you don't plan on using for long, like baby toys or cribs. Funnily enough, Warren Buffett borrowed a crib when his 3rd kid was born, since it was a waste to have another one that he wouldn't need in just a few years. Borrowing is just as easy as buying, so it's a great frugal habit to start today. Number 4, be patient.
So you might not swing for 6 months.
You might not swing for 2 years.
Isn't that boring?
It would bore most people, and certainly boredom is a problem with most professional money managers. If they try to sit out an inning or two, not only do they get somewhat antsy, but their clients will start yelling, "Swing, you bum."
According to Buffett, the number 1 downfall of money managers is this: the inability to wait for a good opportunity. However, if we compare Buffett's success to most money managers, many of them are unknown, while he's considered the best investor in the world. I realized quickly that patience is what allowed him to do that, and it's also unbelievably simple. What could be easier than waiting instead of doing something? Doing things takes energy, while waiting doesn't. I decided to take this frugal tip from Buffett and use it to wait before I buy things. I always like to wait at least 3 days, and when I do that, I noticed how much less things I buy and how much happier I feel. Number 5, use your city's website. Your city is a treasure trove of amazing things, and you can easily find it on their website. You may be wondering what this has to do with Warren Buffett and easy frugal living tips, but let me explain. Warren Buffett lives in Omaha, which is relatively small and an unknown place, yet he still finds things to do and doesn't overspend his money in the slightest. Surprisingly to some of you, if you take the time to see what's happening in your city, you'll come across all sorts of amazing events, many of which are totally free of charge. This is easy enough considering that you usually plan events to gather for. So why not make it easier for you and have the event already set up? All you need to do is attend and not spend a single cent. Number 6. Don't upgrade your tech. A viral video from Warren Buffett circulated when people found out he was neither a Samsung nor an Apple person. Instead, he used an old flip phone, which people haven't seen for years since the onset of smartphones. To him, all he cared about was functionality. If he could have contact with the people he needed to contact, that was good enough. It's really easy to implement this, as all you need to do is wait until your tech actually needs an upgrade instead of buying one with every new release. Number 7. Learn cheap hobbies.
With your resources, you could do anything you wanted in the world to entertain yourself. Why bridge?
Bridge is the most interesting game in the world. It's true that I could do almost anything. I could have a big boat someplace or go off to faraway islands, and there's nothing I enjoy more than playing bridge. I play bridge about.
Bridge is an old card game, which, as many of you can imagine, only costs a deck of cards. With the advent of the internet, hobbies seem to be more and more expensive with the gear and equipment needed. However, learning an inexpensive hobby can change your finances. This frugal living tip is super easy, as all you need to do is pick something up that's cheap, like learning to draw. In fact, this is the hobby I picked up, and all I needed was a pencil and some paper. Number 8. Only eat out if it's cheap. You all know that Warren Buffett eats like a 6-year-old. Actually, that's how Warren bases his diet, as he says that the mortality rate of a 6-year-old is the lowest. So you won't find him spending hundreds of dollars on caviar or some other expensive items. This is a really easy frugal living tip to implement, as all you need to do is only eat out if it's cheap and start cooking at home. It may be a bit harder than ordering takeout, but once you start cooking for yourself, you'll realize how easy it actually is and how much money you'll save. Number 9. Save your money. This one's a no-brainer, but there's more to it than it seems. There's actually 2 reasons to save money. One we mentioned before, which was to build an emergency fund, and the other we'll share later in the video. However, Warren Buffett was always a big saver, and now he's the 5th richest person in the world because of it. It's also never been easier, as you can easily set up automatic payments so you don't even have to think about saving. Number 10. Invest in yourself.
So the best investment by far is anything that develops yourself. And again, not taxed.
Just as he said, investing in yourself is the best investment you could ever make. It's also one of the easiest frugal living tips, largely because it's enjoyable to do things for yourself and things that you like to do. I don't know about you, but I really love learning. So reading books and taking courses to help me grow and gain professional skills is a treat. It's something that I like to do in my own time. And not only do I spend money the best possible way, but it's also allowed me to make a solid career change to bring in more cash. Number 11. Be a coupon user. A well-known anecdote from Warren Buffett is that when he was traveling abroad with his good friend Bill Gates, Buffett bought himself and Bill McDonald's entirely through coupons. While this seems incredibly cheap, there's a good lesson to learn. If you can buy on sale, then do it. Coupons are one of the best ways to get items on sale. There are tons of apps that offer coupons like Ibotta, which just makes it easier to practice this frugal tip. Number 12. Invest your money. The other fantastic way to save money, but more importantly to build wealth, is through investing. This is what Warren Buffett is famous for and what's gotten him to the position he's in today. The truth is that it's not easy to get rich quick. This is a direct quote from Buffett, so applying the mentality of long-term investing is the key to true and sustainable riches. One of the best ways to invest is through dollar cost averaging, as it's extremely simple, it can be automated, and your money will grow greatly over time. Number 13. Own a used car. It seems like Warren Buffett has never owned a new car, but the reason why is surprising. In one of Berkshire Hathaway's shareholder meetings, he said nothing about the expenses of the car, but of functionality. To him, he just wanted a safe car. A new car meant nothing to him because there were tons of used cars that offered the exact same things. It's an extremely easy way to think, but it's a frugal tip that'll allow you to make the most of your money. Basically, if you can get the same functionality from a used item and the new one, buy the used one. Number 14. Use cash.
What's in your wallet right now?
I'd say about probably $400 or $500.
$400 or $500
Something like that,
in
yeah.
cash.
Yeah,
Is that what you're always carrying?
I generally carry something like that.
Okay, maybe $400 is excessive for most of us, but let's dive deeper into this frugal tip. Some people may say it's not easy to have cash because you need to take it out of the bank. But there's another way you can benefit from cash without the effort. Only use your debit card for purchases, as that's cash that you physically own. If you want to be like Buffett and stay debt-free, switch to that debit card and use cash. Number 15, don't lose money. Warren has one rule when it comes to money. Rule number 1 is don't lose money. Rule number 2 is don't forget rule number 1. This almost seems too easy, but if it was, then everyone would be doing it, right? Well, sometimes too easy is actually hard for some, but that's just a mindset. When it comes to expenses and budgeting, make sure that whatever you're buying is actually giving you value greater than you spend. A way to test this is to consider how much you plan on using that item every week. If it's only used once a week or less, it's likely not worth it. Typically, you want an item that you'll reach for 80% of the time when you need it to give you good value. Number 16, wait for a sale. You don't have to buy an item just because you want it. If it's an item you know you'll need in the future, wait until a sale pops up. There's always going to be a sale. In fact, Warren Buffett's investment strategy revolved around buying companies that are at a discount. If it's cheap and it's good, then it's the perfect time. Number 17, don't buy what you don't expect to still use in 10 years. If you look through the room you're in right now, how many items do you expect to still want to use 10 years from now? This mentality is excellent for making purchases that'll give you your money's worth. It's actually something Buffett practices every day, both when buying stocks and general living. I use this frugal tip in my daily life as it's so easy. All I have to do is ask a question, and depending on the answer, I either buy or don't buy. And most of the time, I don't. Number 18, have a home that fits your life.
This fall I will have been at 55 years, and it's been, it's the best investment with the exception of those 2 wedding rings that I've made.
It's important to live within your means, and Warren Buffett has mastered that. While many people are hung up on getting bigger and bigger houses, Buffett just stayed in the one he was in and slowly upgraded it as time went on. However, a home itself is not the best investment from a money standpoint, so approaching it frugally is the key. Fortunately, it's very simple. If it's a home that you can easily afford, meaning it's not greater than 30% of your income, and it fits your lifestyle, then it's a home to stay in. Number 19, enjoy moments over expenses. Moments are what we spend money for, but it's easy to forget that. Buffett said in an interview, "And why do I get up every day and jump out of bed and I'm excited at 88? It's because I love what I do, and I love the people I do it with." When looking for easy, frugal habits, focus on spending time with people outside of having to spend. For example, invite friends over to your home and make dinner together and play board games instead of going to a restaurant or partying at the club. It's cheaper and you'll have tons of loving memories.